Welcome to your channel, Dr. Gazavi. Economics and financial issues are very important. Let's go.
Money in the time of crypto. Over the last 2 decades, developed and developing countries have been exposed to and involved in a digital revolution. Digital instruments and possibilities have also emerged in the private and public sectors. Concerning the instruments of payment and the whole monetary arena, the aftermath of the 2007-2008 Great Recession signaled a breaking point, marking the establishment of cryptocurrencies, or crypto assets. In 2009, the pseudonymous Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin, defining it as a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, with no central authority to issue them. In the same year, Nakamoto also affirmed the following: "The root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust. Banks must be trusted to hold our money and transfer it electronically, but they lend it out in waves of credit bubbles with barely a fraction in reserve. We have to trust them with our privacy and trust them not to let identity thieves drain our accounts. Their massive overhead costs make micropayments impossible." In that way, the 2009 launch of Bitcoin signed the first step of the forthcoming cryptocurrencies, representing an implicit threat to central banks and the entire established monetary system. Cryptocurrency, crypto, is a digital currency not reliant on a centralized system, not controlled by any central bank or authority. Instead, it uses a decentralized ledger system, a record of accounts with related transactions based on cryptography, to avoid the issue of trust in an entity. Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies in general, cannot be printed, ex nihilo, or produced without effort. A mining process has been implemented, where computers and specialized machines must solve hash problems to obtain Bitcoin in return. In this scenario, the mining term easily recalls the demanding process of gold extraction. Initially, central banks and public institutions did not focus much on Bitcoin nor consider it a threat, primarily because of the mild relevance that characterized the first years after its launch. From its inception until the beginning of 2013, the Bitcoin price fluctuated but remained under $20 USD, while its market capitalization increased without major sparks. Fig. 2. Fig. 4. Below. In the following years, however, Bitcoin received global attention as a cause and consequence of its increasing price and market capitalization. Even if the Bitcoin price never consistently exceeded $1,000 until January 2017, that year, its price increased more than tenfold, reaching almost $14,000. Fig. 2. Since then, the curiosity of the private sector and public institutions has increased much faster with the Bitcoin price and relevance, stimulating interest in many other cryptocurrencies too. At the beginning of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic further strengthened the relevance of digital payment instruments and the parallel trend in reducing cash use. If central banks and public institutions initially did not necessarily worry about the relevance of cryptocurrencies, they increasingly started to manifest concerns in light of the potential risks associated with the disturbance of the monetary policy tools, as shown in the following section. In particular, the Bank of England, 2021, highlighted how cryptocurrencies might undermine confidence in money and payments and the financial system. The Bow Statement, 2021, helps to grasp central banks' concerns, stating, by offering people an alternative to commercial bank money, new forms of digital money could affect the cost and availability of borrowing from banks. All else being equal, that could make it more difficult for monetary policy to ease financial conditions. At the same time, different governments differently answered Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Some countries have de facto accepted their use, while others strictly banned them. Still, few countries embraced Bitcoin to the point of making it legal tender, even forcing its acceptance as a means of payment in private transactions and accepting them as an instrument to pay taxes at public offices. This situation has been the case in El Salvador since 2021, and the Central African Republic followed its example by adopting Bitcoin as a legal tender in 2022. Other countries are considering moving in the same direction for the future. Many institutional sources, including academic works, have taken an almost dogmatic approach in rejecting the status of money to Bitcoin. Many works contributed to the debate on the nature of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins as money. However, these studies emerged before Bitcoin was established as a legal tender by a government authority, in El Salvador, in 2021. We argue that this event has further challenged the discussion on Bitcoin and cryptos as money, making reality from what was once only a speculative scenario. An in-depth analysis should be conducted on the nature and functions of money to assess if and to what extent Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies constitute or could constitute money. Such an analysis is relevant for multiple reasons. First, it would allow assessing under which circumstances cryptocurrencies could compete with the central bank money, cash. Second, it would allow assessing if Bitcoin and cryptos could threaten the centrality of the central bank's role. Third, it would permit to explore under which conditions Bitcoin might undermine the standard monetary policy's transmission mechanisms at the national and international levels. The evolution of crypto assets and the central bank's perception. Both national and international institutions worldwide reported how the last decades had been characterized by a constant decrease in the use of the central bank's money, fiat currency, together with an increase in the use of digital instruments. Banks and private payment service providers offered electronic bank accounts and e-money in official currency, which consumers moved through cards and apps. For example, in the UK, about 60% of all payments were performed using cash in 2009. 1 decade later, before the spread of COVID-19, only 23% of payments used cash, mainly due to a stronger digitalization of payment instruments, such as debit cards. Finally, the trend in reducing cash use was particularly strengthened and reinforced during the COVID-19 pandemic due to the reduction in consumer spending and concerns about using banknotes as potentially transmitting the virus. That process was accompanied by the parallel emergence of other digital innovations, mostly Bitcoin and other following forms of cryptocurrencies. Today, Bitcoin is the first and most widely used private digital crypto asset that allows private transactions. Recently, stablecoins also acquired relevance as a particular category of cryptocurrencies that aim to constrain volatility by pegging their value to government currencies. Morgan, 2022, studies stablecoins underlining two main potential problems related to their adoption: the commercial bank disintermediation and government currencies accumulation by reserve-linked stablecoin issuers. In that way, many countries experienced a scenario characterized by two main concomitant trends: a decline in the use of cash and the simultaneous use of digital instruments. In particular, crypto assets extraordinarily increased regarding the number of crypto assets in the market, increasing from less than 70 in 2013 to more than 10,000 in 2022, and in terms of the overall crypto assets market per week capitalization, which increased from $0.02 billion United States dollars in November 2011 to more than $3,000 billion USD 10 years later, Fig. 2. Finally, regarding the number of crypto asset users, Fig. 1 shows the increase from about 5 million crypto users in 2016 to more than 220 million in 2021. Bitcoin market capitalization increased from 6 to more than 1,000 billion in the same period. Among crypto assets, Bitcoin has led the market by detaining the highest market dominance even if it experienced a drastic decline in the last years, from about 95% in 2013 to less than 45% in May 2022, Fig. 3, while other crypto assets have conquered space in the market. In the last decade, the Bitcoin price has increased exceptionally, from less than $3 in 2011 to more than $60,000 in 2021. However, Bitcoin and the overall cryptocurrency market also suffered from very significant price volatility episodes, especially in August 2020, Fig. 4. Bitcoin withdrawals were even suspended in June 2022 due to extreme market conditions. The Bitcoin price remained under $1,000 from its inception in 2009 until January 2017, when it peaked at almost $14,000. Later, its price fluctuated between $14,000 and $3,400 until October 2020. Since then, the Bitcoin price has experienced an even more volatile period. The Bitcoin price skyrocketed, arriving at almost $60,000 in April 2021, falling sharply below $32,000 in July 2021, minus 47%, increasing again to $65,500 in November 2021, plus 105%. With a final further collapse to less than $27,000 in June 2022, minus 59%. Despite such volatility, the increased cryptocurrency presence and relevance in the economy are undeniable at the national and international levels. In the last decade, many central banks worldwide launched research projects and began developing their own digital instrument, the Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. CBDC is a form of digital money denominated in the national unit of account of a country, and it is a direct liability of the central bank that is crucially involved in their emissions and management. Beebe and Kennelly, 2023, analyze the introduction of CBDC in the monetary system within an endogenous money framework. CBDCs can be designed for use only among financial intermediaries, i.e., wholesale CBDCs, or by the broader economy. Initially, many central banks had passive and dismissive behavior towards CBDCs, however, they assumed a more supportive approach to CBDCs while showing a more aggressive attitude toward cryptocurrencies in general. Such a central bank transfiguration of approach and perception was probably supported by the perceived threat related to the emergence of cryptocurrencies against the centrality of central bank money, cash. For example, the Bank of England, 2021, highlighted how cryptocurrencies might undermine confidence in money, payments, and the overall financial system. Central bank concerns can be perfectly grasped by the words of the Governor of the Bank of France, François Villeroy de Galhau. If I look at cryptos, how can we build the best of two worlds? We have on one side a technological promise which is very interesting. We will speak about blockchain DLT, and we are very interested in all these technologies. And we have on the other side the trust, the long-term stability which we, central banks, provide, and in a better way than in regulated cryptos, without any doubt. I could say this way, in regulated cryptos are, so to say, a stimulator to general innovation, but they are such a bad answer to a real challenge. If we don't regulate cryptos, if we don't innovate on the central bank's side, and we will discuss that with CBDC for instance, then we could have private fragmentation in payments. Let me insist on that. Perhaps we have at present geopolitical fragmentation, obviously, with Ukraine, Russia, and with this all-troubled world we live in. We shouldn't add to this geopolitical fragmentation private fragmentation in payments, and this is the purpose of all our efforts on experimentation and innovation. The Atlantic Council, 2022, highlighted how a CBDC is virtual money backed and issued by a central bank. As cryptocurrencies and stablecoins have become more popular, the world's central banks have realized that they need to provide an alternative, or let the future of money pass them by. In an ECB report, Panetta, 2020, argued that central bank inaction is not an option and that central bank currency must be fit for the future.
Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel. Economic and financial issues are very important. See you in the next video.